What's good? It's Brittany Sunshyne. Welcome to Flower and Fire, where we revelate, reflect, and remember to dig deep as we keep each other company along the way. And don't forget to believe in your daydreams. Let's dive in. We release the highest praise and the deepest gratitude for the transformative spirit that allows to make what was once burning up in ashes into somehow this cleansing. Have you ever seen that where you can take soot from a fireplace and if you apply it to the glass on like a wood burning stove, it actually has this really beautiful cleansing effect. Like somehow it's just extremely clarifying. So anyway, it's just like another aspect of the purification of fire. It's phenomenal. Reminds me of a throwback to my old life when we would sing, oh gosh, I can barely remember it. Come like a flame of fire, a mighty rushing wind, our praise will rend the heavens, come fall afresh again. Come like a flame of fire, a mighty rushing wind, our praise will rend the heavens, come fall afresh again. I hardly remember that, honestly. I don't know if that's the correct lyrics or anything, and it's very weird when you start to realize like the lens, like the layers of narrative that have been applied by men, and then when it starts to burn away and to just see how the picture is different, the framework is different than what it appeared to be at first, and it's a whole experience to live through. it's it's jarring, and sometimes it's like, what is that? Is it Stockholm syndrome? Where there are times where I'm like, was this a value that I learned through the DV relationship that is, coercion? Or did I learn this like really through your spirit? And how much faith do we have to put into people to be like, you know, attuned to the inner truth within you? Because the reality is that we're all walking around with, wounds that impact how we walk. Some of us walk with a limp. We don't even realize that we walk with a limp or that we stand sideways. I wrote about this in my book, Through It, Unveiling the Conqueror Within. It was my very introductory, illustration was about how I walked crooked. I had no idea that I walked crooked, until my acupuncturist, took a picture of me to show me that I was, sideways. And, I'd been in a car accident and I was probably just self accommodating, I guess. I didn't know how to make myself. It's just one of those when things hurt, your body just adjusts. So, anyway, some of us are walking around through life with entire lenses or colored filters being put over the experience, and it completely changes when that thing is removed or purified away, or when you take that bend in the road and all of a sudden you can see around the corner and it's like, oh my gosh. There's sometimes just knowledge that you get and it's like changes everything until the next knowledge comes that changes everything again and maybe even restores it back to what it some of the bits and pieces of what was before. But it's just like, for where I'm at right now, things are different, yo. So anyway, but the good news is this is a really cool quote from a book. Not my book, a different book. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed, with a capital S, the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent, so of equal or greater value, benefit. It changes things. I feel like I had that revelation one time, and then like when some real life stuff hits that's like irreversible, it's like it's pretty hard to put your weight into that promise. I used to be like, you're going to get paid or paid with interest. You know, like that's how it goes. We either get paid or we get paid with interest. Like, oh, holler to that revelation. It's bringing up some like, it's like pointing to some roots that I had, and maybe I forgot I had. And you just need to give it more credit that they're there. But and also shout out to, even though I'm in this place right now, I'm in a really difficult spot with religion because I feel like there have been some essential parts of truth that have been like left out. And but you know what I also was starting to think about, I was like, do I teach my son this right now or do I wait? It's like very powerful. It's very powerful. And so I'm like, should I wait until he has better emotional control over himself? Like, maybe I didn't learn this because I literally prayed, don't let me like get too much if it's gonna ruin my soul and like ruin my life. Like, because I've watched people, step into money before they're mature, or step into a relationship and then, but like, we've all done that. But anyway, I digress. Every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. So a benefit of equal or greater value. So it's like there is that, when you look at it like that, although those deficit moments are so hard to go through, if you realize like every single one has a seed. And so, okay, real talk. What do we do with the seed though? You have to plant it in good soil, water it, with appropriate amounts of clean water, and allow it to have time to mature and to progress and to grow. Sometimes, real talk, sidebar, sometimes I'm catching revelation for my, like, how do I explain it? I'm just spitting the revelation that's flowing to me, but it's also ministering to me about my own life. And there are times like it pisses me off so bad when I'm like, no, like, don't you even bring that up right now. Okay, back to it. So, but really, like, to be in this space where it's like you either get paid or you get paid with interest. Like, how much faith, and that's where I've had to detach myself from like trying to figure out how that would work for specific people, places, things, because there are some times where I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna fix that. The realist of the real of this for me was when, like, my best friend at the time lost her daughter at birth, and we had been praying and worshiping together, flowing together every day, talking about everything from quantum physics to the Bible to what's going on in this world, like. And so for that to happen, and I even went and visited her right around the time we were hoping like her baby would be born and I could be there, and it would be this wonderful experience that we shared, as these super close spiritual sisters. And then her baby did not come while I was there, and so I go home, um and then her baby like didn't stay and rocked everything. How could it not? And that's where I guess I'm just not that mature in my faith enough to understand how is that going to be? What in the world? And by the way, it says it has a seed, carries with it a seed. So it's not just saying like it's an automatic this for that. It's not saying that. It's saying it has a seed. And if we were to plant the seed, if we were to be diligent gardeners with our lives and try, what am I trying to say? If we were diligent and focused and dealt with the seeds that we've been given, whether it was the seed of a loss of a child or of divorce or addiction or betrayal, deception, like yo, real talk, I didn't know there were so many people out here just like lying. I did not know that. I did not know that you just lie. Like people just live their whole lives lying in order to serve their own whatever. You know how much it cost me to learn that the hard way? Yeah. And then to find out, like, we're all kind of like these atmospheric bubbles that are attuned to, that are, made up of something. And, like, one of the ways that we can measure it is, like, frequency. Like, imagine, like, a little song, like, we're all attuned, like, we're attuned to a radio station, each of us. And what's wild is that when you go into, like, for example, a place that calls itself this one type of place, you would think naturally that everybody in that place is attuned to the same frequency, right? Because they're all in the same place, they're part of the same club, so therefore they must be the same, right? Wrong. Everybody is a one-on-one thing. It's a you and you thing. It's not about who you're married to, it's not about who your mama is, it's not about what you do on the outside. Like, the condition of your soul will dictate the song the station that you are in attuned to. And you can fake it for a while that you're not like attuned to that song, but it always eventually reveals itself. It reminds me of that scripture that talks about when the enemy comes rushing in like a flood. And and in a biological, right? Biological? I think so. In terms of a human physical experience, when shit hits the fan and your brain goes, "Oh my gosh, we're probably going to die," because it's like still operating on the old system of humanity, like lizard brain, like fight, flight, freeze. Even if it's just that your cell phone bill is late now, it's like, okay, the risks aren't quite the same as, oh my gosh, a lion is chasing me, but yet the response systems are still wired the same. So we're having these huge panics over things that are actually not life-threatening. And then you have the stress chemicals just being released through your body. And it reminds me of the same way, like so think about a place that's really dry and there's like divots in the, whatever, in the dirt. And when it rains, like torrential downpours, like all of a sudden you find out there's like riverbeds around and the low parts fill up with water. And so it's like the same thing. It reminds me of like in our brain, how our brain gets these, what's it called? These, it gets these creases. Our brains get these creases for like different memories / experiences / knowledge. And then so it just made me think of like when shit hits the fan, like our deepest, oldest ruts are going to be the ones where the like water flows to. So like the stress chemicals are like, go, this is how we do it, and it takes such cognitive awareness and self-awareness and development of discipline and focus to not automatically repeat the same responses, reactions, and coping like that we've done forever, like to wake up and be like, I gotta do something, I gotta do this differently somehow. And it's an entire journey. But when we figure out how to do something with it, we can then look at the seed that has come with every adversity, every failure, and every heartache, and see what that seed is going to produce. It's going to be a beneficial seed. And maybe it's going to produce endurance. Maybe it's going to produce stability. Maybe it's going to produce wisdom. Like, that I just went through the hardest thing ever, but I learned a lot. I learned a whole lifetime of freaking lessons in a course of about a year. I got confirmation about who is who, what is what my gut says and when to follow it, and like about everything and everyone. I was in this weird, like, it was a place of humility, but just kind of like, I'm going to just sit back and watch for a while because I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know. I was like in that period for several years. Just watching, hearing from the spirit, and then watching it happen. Like, hearing from spirit first and then having it echoed throughout. So, it was this training period where I got to find out if I do know or not. Because, like, who am I to freaking talk if I don't know nothing and if I have nothing to offer? And by the way, I still don't necessarily think that I'm just as important as the next person. I'm just choosing to do something with the seed of the adversity and the failures and the heartaches and all the good things that I've walked with. I'm going to multiply my seed. And this is one of the ways that I've figured out how to do it. And at the end of it all, it's not about the outcome. It's not about how many people or how much money or, like, I don't even care. Like, none of that. It's all about, there's nothing better than figuring out how to do your divine purpose with knowledge of divine identity. And it's all just then about being that person. And this is like one of the ways that I be myself. And it took me years to get comfortable. Like, it was just, I'd go back and forth trying to package it in all these different ways. Like, maybe I should turn it into a video. Maybe I should turn it into like something more prepared. Maybe I should not just like spitball. But the longer that time went on, just the more confirmations, like a drop in the bucket here and there and there and here and there. And then finally, till the point when, the bucket was overflowing and I'm like, okay, got it. Like, there's no more denying. This is the thing to do. And I see it expanding and evolving and flourishing into so many other things. And maybe that's why the vision was so huge. I'm like, where do I even begin? Because there are things that are going to come that are they seem completely unrelated, but yet, like, I see how, and that's another thing, more and more the path has aligned where I could see how the different dots connect. And I'm like, okay. Like, the more I can see the picture, the more I knew where to begin and why it matters. And there's still so many things that I probably don't see yet, don't even know yet, and it doesn't even matter because it's just like there really does come this complete peace with the knowledge of realizing that everything really is going to come together for exceedingly abundantly, far above anything we could ask, think, or imagine. And now I have the tools to initiate that with the oak tree of faith within me, even though it will never fit in the box of religion. But, that was a place where my seed was nurtured through that language for a long time. And I can't be mad at it because I learned morality and I learned stories of faith. I got to learn, like, the lessons of faith from others through those stories. But I also got to learn like, if they don't have it going on and they don't get it, don't model your life after them. you know? Okay, so anyway, maybe we're going to keep it short today. Be blessed, be well, be free.